Hello again. Excuse me. Hello again. What's up, y'all? What's up to the YouTube community? What's up to the subscribers? What's up to the viewers of these videos? And everything. I mean, it's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be blessed. I want to thank everybody for the continued love, support, and prayers you give for your boy on this channel and everything we're doing to continue to grow, do, and come up strong. Because that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. And always, we're getting fueled up and powered by the great rock star. You know, gotta support. Because sooner or later, you support people like that, and sooner or later they're gonna come along and they're gonna look your way. Because you're doing big things for them, you're doing great things, and they see you coming up strong. And they're gonna support what you do. Cause you supporting what they doing. But we got quite a few different little things I want to talk about today right quick in this video as I get one in here with y'all. But first I want to say the main thing we're going to be getting into is a little bit about the levels of success. I want to talk a little bit about that because I feel like there's some levels in there that people don't talk about, people don't discuss, and people really don't talk about or discuss the levels of success at all. A lot of people just, they're just doing this, but they're not talking about it along the way. And I feel like, you can help somebody out so much, just by talking about things along the way. But first off, I want to take a second to show this offer right here. Champion on the hat. Got a fresh new, clean looking hat yesterday afternoon. I was down at the mall and I stopped in over at Champs Sports down at the mall. Only because I was in there the day before, and I was talking with some of them boys down there, and I had a little deal set up where I had to go back down yesterday afternoon and drop off a copy of the album. They wanted a copy of the CD. They was going to play it in the store and give it a listen. Now the thing is, excuse me, y'all. The thing is, though, they told me they really couldn't play it during normal business hours because of, higher ups at corporate and stuff like that. They couldn't, you know, do anything like that because corporate and higher ups and stuff like that, like I was saying, they send them CDs that's got music on there, and that's what they got to play. They play what they get sent, and what, is given to them, so be it. That's cool. But anyway, I stopped down, I dropped off a copy of it, and I floated them a few of the red bracelets that I got, because when you in any kind of business or any kind of success you're doing, you got to be constantly making moves and doing things. You can't never slow down for a second. Can't do it. And by them giving it a listen, and they'd be like, oh, we're going to get back with you later, we're going to hit you up, we're going to get with you, sir. Let you know what's going on, what we think about it, all this and that and whatever. So be it. That helps me out, And the thing is, too, I feel like Champs Sports is a great store. I feel like that's the store where the champions go. All the champs go. You go in, you get your fresh new pair of shoes, you get your new hat, you get you some nice gear, whatever you buying, and then you come out the store looking like a champ. You feeling good about yourself, you feeling fresh and smooth, and whatever like that. And I'll tell you, if I can get things set up, I'm gonna wind up going back down there, and we're gonna have a special little video right down there at Champ Sports, right inside the store. We're gonna get a little video with these boys down there, the manager, and some of the guys and stuff like that, and make some things happen. But anyway, to get in to the main part of this video here and start it off and get things going, like I said, I want to talk a little bit about the levels of success, because I feel like, you got the beginner level where you're way down at the bottom, just beginning and starting out, finding your starting point, finding your jump off point of where you want to start and where you want to go from, and how you going to make it happen, how you going to make it work, and what you're going to do about things. And then you got that midway point. And then you coming up and you got that level all the way up at the top where you up there with the champs. You up there with the big dogs. And you hit that certain level of success where you're finally up there where you've got enough money coming in. You're sitting good. You're doing good for yourself. You can finally spend a little bit on yourself. Get yourself some nice things you want. Get yourself looking good and sitting right a little better. And whatever the case might be. But the thing is, what I more so want to talk about as well, going along with the level of success, like I said, is the levels that are in there. You know, I don't want to say they're hidden levels, but they're levels that are like, a little more back in the foreground, and people don't talk about them. You got, like I said, you got the starting point level, and then you got that midway point. Well, you got a level that's in between the starting point and the midway point, where I want to call that the intermediate level. That's what I like to call it. So, you got that beginner level, that intermediate level, the midway point, and then you're up to the level with the big dogs where you're hitting the champions, the champs, and up there with the pros and the big dogs. But then you also got a level in between them two as well, you know, and that's a level all its own, and we'll get to all that here in a minute. But the thing is, I want to say you starting out, and you on that bottom level, and when you on that bottom level, you on that level where you're trying to figure out what it is you want to do, what it is you're going to do, and then when you finally figure out what it is you want to do and what you're going to do, you got to find that jump off point, that starting point of how you're going to get from where you're at to where you want to be. Whether it be you an artist making music, you got a band, maybe you starting a clothing line, or you just running a YouTube channel for a certain reason, Maybe you get into skateboarding, maybe you BMXing, or maybe you got a shop where you're doing custom cars and stuff like that, or maybe you be a person that does custom motorcycles. I know a guy, I don't know him real well like some people, but I know him enough from around the way and stuff like that, He run a shop out of the Midwest, Curly's Custom Cycles, and I mean, he produces some bad bikes. He producing some bad road bikes coming out, where he had his own custom style, his own custom touch, and his own custom flavor to it. I mean, you go down there with a stock standard bike, and I guarantee you, when you come out, you're gonna be looking like you're riding a Cadillac. That's just all there is to it. I mean, Curly is just hooking them up. That's all there is to it. Curly is hooking them up, And I want to take a second to give a shout out to that man and say, much love to the guy, right here, because he doing so good. He on one, like I've talked about before, being on one. Yeah. But anyway, thing is, getting back to where we was at, you starting out at the bottom, and you find your starting point, and then you got to come off of that starting point. But you got to figure out how you want to come off of that starting point, because everybody finds a starting point in their own way. And everybody comes off of that starting point in their own way. People can tell you, hey, this is how I found my starting point. This is how I got started. And people can tell you, hey, this is how I came off of my starting point. And this is how I did this or I did that or whatever. So be it. But the thing is, people can tell you all they want to about how they did that. But you still, in the long run, got to do it yourself and do it your own way. You can't copy or mimic somebody else, because then you're going to look like a copycat, and everybody going to say, oh, you ain't never going to be nothing, you ain't going to mount to nothing, you just copycat, and that's why here on this channel, ain't no copycats over here, dude. We ain't rolling out like that, dog. We ain't got no copycats over here, no whatsoever. We doing our own thing. I've had, haters come along that try to tell me that I'm a copycat, because I'm copying other people's music, or I'm copying other people's style or flow, or copying anything, and it ain't like that. It is not like that. But the thing is, once you find that starting point of where you're going to start, then the risky part comes in. What I like to call the gamble. You roll the dice. You taking the gamble. You play poker. You taking a gamble. You play a slot machine. You taking a gamble. You play some scratch offs or you play any kind of part of the lottery. What are you doing? Taking a gamble. And that's always the risky part for a lot of people, is taking a gamble. A lot of people worry about the gamble and the risk. A lot of people are afraid of the risk and the gamble. Because I'll tell you flat out, I ain't even going to lie. I'll keep it real with y'all. There's been a lot of times where I've wanted to do something with myself a little more because I've always had a decent talent and a decent act for business. I've always been a small-time businessman doing things, whether it be running a successful yard sale, when I was younger, running a successful Kool-Aid stand or whatever the case might be, and always making money off of something. It was just the way I done things. I'll tell you flat out, I've never seen too many people who can run a successful yard sale and come out clean with about $300-400 in a day's time just from running a yard sale from about 10 o'clock in the morning on. But I've done it before. I ain't even gonna lie about that one, and I ain't got nothing to put a front on about. It's just the way it was. During the summertime, I had time to invest and, get into things. And that's the thing, when you're running that risk and you're running that gamble, you got to find time to get into that risk and gamble. Because once you get into that risk and that gamble, that's when you start getting busy. That's when you start staying busy and you don't get a lot of sleep. Because I didn't. I remember way back when I started this YouTube channel right here. I didn't get a lot of sleep sometimes, because I'd be working on videos. I'd be planning things for the next video, There was times when I did a few videos with some music and stuff, when I think back on it, I was up late night working on a song, trying to get it written, trying to get it finished, then to get it recorded and everything else. And sometimes I didn't get a lot of sleep, But the thing is, too, if you're gonna jump into the risk and the gamble and put your money out there, you got to make sure it's feasible for yourself and it's within your means to run that risk and gamble. And you got to start small. Say you opening up a shop. You're not going to go right out and just buy you a garage somewhere and open shop. A lot of people, they start out just right out of their own garage. I've heard about it before. Look at garage bands that get started that way. Look at people that start out doing paint jobs right out of their garage, or doing oil changes, tire changes, or whatever like that, right out of their garage, and getting started from the bottom, ground up, and working their way up. That's what you got to do. You got to find that initial starting point. And then you got to get over that hump of being afraid of that risk and that gamble and take it. Because there's been times I wasn't really afraid of it, but I was worried about the risk and the gamble because I'm thinking, I'm going to put out all this money to do what I'm doing, and when I put the money out there, you know what I mean? I got all that money hanging out there in the breeze. And who knows how long it's going to be hanging out there? Who knows how much I'm going to make off of it, or what I'm not going to make off of it, or anything else? So be it. Don't worry about none of that. I can tell you that now. Don't worry about none of that. Just continue to pray. Continue to thank God for what you have. Continue to thank God for blessing you with the talents you have and the knowledge and success that you get. Well, not just success, but the knowledge you have to do what you need to be doing to get it done. And you just have to get in there and get the shit done. That's all there is to it, y'all. Get in there and get the shit done. You want to do something? Do it. I'm out here all the time hustling and working on the grind to get things done and do it. But not only that, I can also tell you, when you're starting out on that lower level, don't worry about the big time or think about it, Start small in just your city. Start small in just your town and build your way up a little bit at a time. And then soon enough, you're going to branch out to where you become well known in your state. And then once you get built up to where you become well known in your state, in your area, in your community and all that, then you can start branching out to a region. Like branching out to the West Coast, branching out to the East Coast, branching out to the Midwest, branching out to the Southwest, whatever the case might be, and just coming up strong. Because then, once you start branching out a little more, and you start seeing some money coming back into where you reaping what you sowed, that's when you start getting to that intermediate level. And once you reach that intermediate level, I feel like that's where you start getting a little money coming back in off of what you put in. But that money you start seeing coming back in, you're just starting to make back what you put in. And until you make back what you put in, you don't have nothing to spend. a lot of people start seeing money coming in, and any money that they start seeing coming in, they want to spend it, and that's why you see so many people that go broke so quick, and they don't have nothing. They say, "Oh, look at this guy over here. He running this shop. He broke." Or look at this guy over here. He's an artist doing these paintings and everything else. And you see him all the time out there setting up affairs or festivals and different things. But he never had no money for himself or nothing to talk about or show for anything because right here, he not using his brain and he not smart and he not spending that money wisely. You got to take that money that starts coming back in off of the benefits you was reaping and sowing and put it back into yourself. Reinvest in yourself so you can continue to grow and do. Because you are a walking investment. You are a driving investment. You are an investment. And you got to get the investors to invest in you. And you are an investor in you. That's where it all starts, is you being an investor in you. And then that's when you start building up your clientele, your customers, and everything else. And that's where you start growing and doing, because those are the people that invest in you. They like your product. They like your music. They like your shop. They like your storefront. And then they start investing in you. And then you start seeing money coming back into where you're reaping benefits off of it. And then when you finally hit a point to where you start getting caught up to where you've made back everything you got put in. And then once you've made everything back you got put in, then you start making a little for yourself. You may be ahead $10. You may be ahead $50. You may be ahead $100. And then you reach that midway point where you kind of level up. I like to call that the midway point, the leveling up point, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, you never know how long it's going to take for you to get there to that midway leveling off point to where you done made back everything you got invested in yourself to where you can start easing off, backing off a little bit, and being a little more comfortable with what's going on. Because I finally got to the point to where I'm a little more comfortable with what's going on. You know what I mean? I just feel a little more comfortable about doing things. Because a lot of times, no matter what you're getting into at first, like I said, you're going to be a little scared, a little afraid, a little worried about that risk and that gamble. And sometimes you might even be, a little nervous about doing things. I ain't going to lie. I was a little nervous about doing YouTube. I was a little nervous about other things I wanted to get into. But I had to get over it. Take that risk and that gamble and get in there. And it's paying off. It's gonna take some time, because like I said, you never know how long it's gonna take before you hit that level off point. And you get to that midway point to where you're finally starting to see a little money coming in to where, like I said, you ahead $50, you ahead $100, you ahead $1,000, however much you ahead, so be it. And a lot of people say, it depends on the individual how quick you reach that midway point, which in a way, that's true. But in a way, it's not true, because you can be out there grinding and hustling and working as hard as you want to all day long, 24/7. But still, not feel like you're getting anywhere because it happens. That's why they say patience is a virtue. Like they say, patience is poker. You sitting there waiting on that next good hand to come in and just bust out on somebody. Boom. Rank a pot in. Well, sometimes you got to sit and wait upon things. You got to pray to God. You got to stay humble. And you got to stay on your grind. And just wait for that one right moment. Boom. When you can come in like a shark. Snatch it. Or like that. Bring it in. Like a fisherman. You sitting there with your pole in the water. And you finally reel in that big lunch. Excuse me, y'all. You reel in that good-sized fish that you was waiting to bring in. You never know how long you're going to have to wait before you get to that fish. You never know how long it's going to take before you get to something for sure. But you got to stay on that grind and that hustle. I do daily, y'all. And like I said before, and like I said again, I don't always show what's going on behind the scenes here. There's times where I got pictures on Snapchat. I got pictures on my Facebook fan page of certain things that's going on. But I don't talk about everything. But of course, like anything goes, you always got to make sure you're going about things the right way. Because there's always a right way and a wrong way to go about things. And that can be a whole nother video about the right and wrong way of success. And we ain't even gonna even make a dent or a scratch and the surface of that right now, But we'll get there with that video. But anyway, like I said, you reach that level and off point where you start seeing a little bit come in. And a lot of times, that's where you see people go broke real quick. Where, like I was talking about, there's that broke artist. There's that broke person running a shop and everything else. Because the minute they start seeing money coming in, they think they got to idolize everybody else. They think they got to be like everybody else. They got to do like everybody else. They want to be like everybody else. And you can't do that. You're not on that level. You see people that's going out and they're spending 100,000, 50,000, 20,000, or a few hundred here and there. Like, it ain't nothing, They basically spending hundreds like it's dollar bills, But that's because people have worked hard to build themselves up to a certain level of success where they can spend them hundreds like it's dollar bills. You know what I mean? So be it. But the thing is, even though you slowly start seeing money coming in where you're ahead, $50, $100 or whatever, you still got to continue to invest in yourself to grow and do and make more money. You got to continue to promote yourself. You got to continue to get yourself out there, And not only that, when you get on that level, that's when you get to a point you can take a little bit of that money where you can reach out to companies, like me, supporting Rockstar. Or, maybe you support Nike a lot. Or you support, right here, you support Champion a lot, I support Champion, but I'll tell you flat out, I don't support them real big like some people do, I like their clothing, and nothing wrong with it. But I'll tell you one thing, though, I've noticed. I don't see why a lot of people can go out, they can buy a Champion hat, Champion hoodie, maybe a Champion fanny pack, which I've seen a lot of those making a comeback. And I remember when they used to be real hot back in the day. But the thing is, they can do that, but yet won't nobody wear a pair of Champion shoes. And I don't see nothing wrong with them. I've owned some pairs. I've worn them before. And I don't see nothing wrong with them at all. I would rock a pair any day of the week and wear some Champions. They're comfortable. They're decent shoes. They all right. And for the money, you getting your money's worth. And where you would go out and normally spend 60, 70, 80 bucks on one pair of shoes, you could get about 2, 3 pair of Champions for the same price. And make it work, But I think it's a personal preference on something like that. But anyway, the thing is, though, like I said, you hit that leveling off point. You got money coming over your head. You continue to invest and grow and do into yourself. And then you start getting supporters, You start looking up to people. And you start getting supporters coming in, and you start, having people support you to where they're supporting you, they're supporting your brand, companies, because you supporting them, and you supporting their brand, and there you go. You on the come up, And then, once you're on the come up where you start getting a little more, you start getting a little bit more exposure, You starting to get outside of your area and your county to where you branching out to the whole state, like if you live in Indiana. Or if you live in Chicago somewhere, We'll just use Chicago for an example. You in the suburbs, you just starting to branch out into the suburbs a little bigger. And then you really slowly start reaching the actual city of Chicago, getting into a little bit more big time, And then you start reaching that level right there before you get up to the champs and the champions. I want to, people may say it differently, but to me, I want to call that level right there the pros. You're reaching the pro level. And then you get up to the champs and the champions. I want to call that like moderate, moderate pro level is what we'll call it. A moderate pro level. You at that moderate pro level where you're really starting to branch out, into your, into your state. And then next thing you know, you capitalizing on the whole state because you done capitalized the area where you're at, so you got to start branching out and growing a little more. So that's what you do. You start capitalizing your whole state, and then once you get a nice capitalization on your whole state, and you really start seeing money coming in where you got a little extra that you can spend. But when you got a little extra that you can spend, yeah, there's nothing wrong with going out and getting yourself something nice, You see a nice hat you want, new pair of shoes you want, a nice outfit, But when you spend that money, you still got to spend it wisely. Make sure you're spending it on something that's going to last a while. Make sure you're spending it on something that's really going to benefit you. You got to think about it. Do I really need this? Is it going to benefit me? How is it going to benefit me? What is it going to do for me? And then Figure out, do I really need this or not? And if you can answer the question, yes, you really need it, go ahead and get it and help yourself out. You know, anything that you see me doing or I show off something new in a video, it's because sooner or later on down the road, I'm going to benefit from it. And y'all will see how you continue to stick with your boy, support your boy, and continue to show love and support for your boy. I'm going to show you how it all works out in the long run. I'm going to show you how it all pays off in the long run. And we will get there. But then the thing is, once you really start capitalizing as a state, and you gained all the fans you can gain out of your host state and everything, or supporters, investors, whatever the case may be, for whatever kind of business or success you're on, then you slowly start branching out to other states close by. Southern states, northern states, eastern states, western states, whatever. You slowly start branching out a little bit. Then you slowly start coming off of that, and you slowly start getting up to that you slowly start getting up to that champions level with the champs, which is where I'm headed right here, baby. That's why I got the hat on. We rocking it like a champion all the way through to the champs level. This channel is going to go to a champion level. I'm going to a champion level. I'm headed there, y'all. I remember back when I had people that was hating like crazy when I started doing this. And sometimes they still hate. But I've seen haters that come along, and they have a turnaround and then decide instead of being a hater, they want to pat you on the back because they see how good you're doing. So be it. I get people that come to me, and ask me to help them out. They say, we see you doing good right now. We see how hot you are. We see you, what's happening. You making moves. You're doing this and that. Let me get on with you, Let me do a song with you. Let me get on a track with you. Let me get on a CD with you, Let me get on an album with you, Let me get on a video with you. Do this and that. It's like, man, you're just trying to hang from my shirt tail. That's all it is. You're trying to get on a slice of my pie and a slice of my success after you want to be a hater or whatever the case might be. Nah. If you ain't promoting any kind of success or victory, you can't be allowing any negative people to come along and put them on. Can't do it. Because I feel like that's just a part of the devil trying to bring you down when people doing stuff like that. No, they got to keep it moving. It's just the way I see it. But the thing is, once you get up to where you hitting that champions level, you really branching out. You really hitting other states, and you capitalizing real good in other states, You doing good, say, in Chicago, and then next thing you know, you hit Indiana. You looking good. You looking good in Illinois. Then you start branching out, maybe get a little bit of Wisconsin where you looking good. Michigan. Excuse me, somewhere else that's close by. Maybe you start getting down across the line into some southern states. Kentucky, Tennessee. Maybe you get down to Georgia or Texas, where you're reaching out to people, So be it. But not only that, when you get off of that pro level and you start coming up to the champs level and stuff like that, that's where when you got enough money to do it, to invest into yourself even more so, that's when you got to start taking trips. And you got to start going out to other states. You got to start going out to other places. You got to start checking out what else is going on out there. What other competition is out there. And what you're up against, not just in your area, but in other states and cities as well. And see what other people's got going on. Maybe you get some ideas that might spark you to help you out with what you're doing. Because anybody can help somebody out on this road to success and victory. Anybody can, It's so easy to get inspiration from anywhere, Like I was talking about earlier. Curly's Custom Cycles. Like I said, Curly doing a great job. And Curly has kind of inspired me, to be honest. He really has. Curly has kind of been an inspiration to me, and I've seen him lately, He's been posting up some new videos to his day and stuff like that, where he's been riding some new bikes, He's been getting out riding, because he's got to a level to where he could kick back and watch that TV show or watch the movies. Some of them guys kind of inspired me as I've been doing this, and I